If you're ready to take your online business to the next level and break 20K months, but are concerned about serving clients, managing your schedule, personal tasks and goals, and having time to freaking breathe, this is for you. So get ready for 5 steps solopreneurs can take to break 20K months. Now, before I develop a plan of action, I'll give you a little bit behind the scenes for me. What I like to do is ask myself, what are the smaller steps I need to take? Many times we will have a step that we know to take on our to-do list, and it's actual several other little bitty steps, or we haven't included the prep that we need to do for that step on that to-do list. So again, this is where I overwhelm myself with the listing of all the things in my head. So I get it down on paper and I see that big to-do list. Now, everything is not urgent and important. So this is where you need to think about what needs to be done today. So you pick one task and then you take a look at that task and really ask yourself, what are the smaller tasks involved in this? And this helps me find my point A. So a great example of this, to really make it just a simple example, is like getting ready to mow the lawn, for example. Many times I forget to I have an electric lawnmower, to put the battery in the charger before I mow the lawn. And I don't keep it in the charger because that's also what wears out the battery, but I forget to go ahead and do that. Like maybe first thing when I wake up in the morning, if I'm going to mow the lawn that day, or the night before, I forget to do that. So I'll get up and say, I'm going to go mow the lawn. And I get out there, I get all my tools together, and I've got the lawnmower and I put the battery in. I do all those steps only to find out the lawnmower is not going to run. And I got to wait another hour or so for the battery to charge back up. So these are the kind of things that you think about your point A. It's like, what's the prep work I need to take in order to do this? Give yourself a little more time to do something versus just hopping all in, gung-ho, ready to take on the task. Think about what your needs are as you go throughout the day. If you are, say, doing some spring cleaning in your house, for example, you want to make sure that you have some water available while you're going around the house cleaning. You want to make sure that you have whatever you need to support you. So these are other things that can do with prep work. I like to prepare my office before I start working. And this helps me slow down in my business. So when you start thinking about all that to-do list, yes, it's great to get it down on paper, but at the same time, you need to think to yourself, what do I need in order to get through this day? What do I physically need? Do I need to go out and, exercise, stretch? What do I need? What do I need personally? And then look at what your to-do list looks like for that day. Look at your calendar, see what you've got lined up, and ask yourself, what am I capable of doing today? And this can apply to business as well. Now, when you're sitting there planning with your business, and just about anything in life, really, when you're making big plans, but with business in particular, you might want to ask yourself, what will get in my way? Because there will always be something that's going to get in your way. In life is life. Life happens. Things happen. And business, there's always going to be something in your way. Either it's a team member who doesn't quite understand the assignment or a client who seems to be more needy than normal, or you're having issues with an agreement with someone else that you decided to do something with. There's all kinds of things to balance in business. And on top of that, you have to make sure that your computer is running well. All of your tech is doing okay. Everything is, up and running smoothly. So what will get in your way? The thing is when you think about it that way, you can't really plan for every obstacle, because life, it will always be something you need to do for the family, the house. And let's not forget yourself. Through experience, though, you will start to identify common obstacles. So I write those down. I write down my common obstacles that I have experienced with, say, even just posting a post. There's always something like I have to sit down and constantly look for the images, or I'm digging through files or something to find something that I need to create that post. So I set up Notion and started creating a better project management system for me. Most of the project management systems did not suit my business, so I created my own through Notion, which, by the way, is free forever. So I'm all about getting free stuff. So when you're going through all of these things and writing down those common obstacles that you've already had experience with, then you know better about whether or not to go around that obstacle, go under that obstacle, go over that obstacle, or just completely walk away from that to begin with. Because in some cases, some of the things that we have down, we think we should be doing because it makes somebody else happy. But in reality, it's not going to move us any closer to our goals. So these are things that you have to think about when you're thinking about your to-do list. Put your needs first, make your business a healthy habit, make healthy habits throughout the day to support you as you're making decisions. And by all means, be okay with slowing down, because when you slow down is when you get your best ideas. So another additional thing that I personally support, because I do have a mentor, is having someone to advise you and guide you. It's very helpful because their experience combined with yours equals speed. You're not doing it alone. You have somebody with another perspective and different experiences to say, hey, this is something else that could possibly come up as you're doing this, or here's what I noticed when I was doing that particular task or business venture. And these are things that you need to watch out for. I mean, when you have somebody there to help you do that, it leaves out so much of the questioning and worry and tossing and turning about your business when you have somebody that you know and you trust help you with your business as you navigate it and move towards 20K months. Now, how do I base my decisions when I do come across obstacles? That's a great question to have, is how are you going to navigate that obstacle? So this is where my 3 pillars that help me make decisions in my business. These are where my 3 pillars come into play. They're not cute little fluffy pillars. They're not anything like that. What they are the pillars that drive the money in my business, that drive my business to success, that help my clients succeed and help me succeed. These 3 pillars are clients, money, and service. That's how I prioritize my business. So in my opinion, getting feedback from my paying clients leads to better services and more cash flow. Inside my 90-day program, I'm often testing different ways to teach you a concept or to support you in making decisions in your business in order to increase that speed, that momentum without breaking the engine. I want you to have speed in your business, but I also want you to do it in a way that you can do it consistently, because that's the key. And when you know where to focus, then you can make better decisions in your business and invest in better services for your business. That's when a business strategist such as myself comes into play. We help you look at the pros and cons and navigate and look for your treasures while also sidestepping the little the mines that are along the way that can blow up in your face every once in a while. So that's where it comes into play, is by getting that feedback from your clients. When I'm testing that sort of thing with my clients, I'm sitting there testing it with the people that are paying. They don't have to pay extra for those tests. They're already paying me for my services, but they're already there. And I can get the feedback from the people that will pay for my services, what they would want from something like that, what their needs are, what they are thinking about that particular problem or that skill that I'm asking them about. So when you do that, when you get feedback from your paying clients, this leads to better services and more cash flow. So I can continue serving successful solopreneurs, growing this beautiful business I own, and living my life on my terms, riding horses any day I want to. So, I also discovered something about group offers while I was delivering my services. I have done group offers. So when you do these group offers, here are some things to think about on the pros and cons. This is on the other side of having served clients successfully in a group offer, and why I decided to go back to one-on-ones. And it does depend on the type of client that you have and how they can learn about something, how they need to be supportive, but it's also about what's doable for you. So what I discovered with group offers and the drawbacks in delivery, I noticed better results for my ideal client with one-on-one and the added flexibility of Voxer. Now, how I discovered the advantage of Voxer was actually through Facebook Messenger. The only con with Facebook Messenger is that too many messages from non-paying clients. So Voxer creates that more intimate space where that's for paying clients only. And I know when I hear the ding from Voxer, it's my client, and I can get on there and address them during business hours. Now, one of my clients, she was like clockwork inside of my business. And several of my clients have been like this. They remind me of me when I was in their shoes. And this is what the one-on-one experience gives me. I get to see myself that, many years ago with the excitement, the worry, the second guessing, and, business is like raising a child. You're just constantly wondering, am I doing the right thing? Should I give up even? I mean, so many things cross your brain, but you keep putting yourself out there. And my clients are much like that. They're always asking, am I doing the right thing? Now, the pro of the group offer at that time, when I was doing a group offer and one-on-ones together, according to my paying clients, was knowing that they were not alone in the journey, which I do find valuable. But I also saw them more focused and more deliberate in their actions and more confident with the decisions they made in business when they were in the one-on-one container. The con with the group and one-on-one container was my energy and what I am able to do. So the group was too much. I'm not someone who I do okay in groups, but I'm better in one-on-one experiences with people because then I can really focus in on that person and really give them my opinion, my recommendations, what I believe would be best for their business. So in that way, the group really didn't serve me, which, then leads to me not having as much passion behind my services and, kind of a pushback with selling it because I'm not all in with it. So you have to be all in with it too. Now with the one-on-ones, now the pros was the flexibility hands down. Because of my autoimmune disease, this was like the biggest pro for me, but I also see it as a pro for my clients as well because of the stage of business that they're in. They are time short, so there's no waiting to get on a Zoom call once we have the plan in place and we are clear on what we will be implementing together over the next 90 days. This is how my 90-day program works. We set up that 90-minute call. That is the Scale Without Stress strategy call that you can invest in. Just check out the show notes. But the 90-minute strategy call leads to, if we decide to work together, the implementation of that plan. So when I have found that is with Voxer, I have space to be flexible. I can zig when I need to zig and zag when I need to zag instead of being reactive. So for example, I recently had to move my horses. I had to make a decision that usually takes about 30 days to make in less than 1 week. I drove over 200 miles and visited and called about 20 or more farms just to find a new home for my horses. I had a major schedule shift and had to prioritize everything. But because I have the services that are flexible with that kind of thing, I didn't feel like, oh gosh, I'll never get anything done. Oh my gosh, X client needs this like now. And I didn't have all that feeling because of the flexibility of Voxer. I was able to establish when my office hours were and when we would meet, which is 3 times a week. We talk back and forth Tuesday through Thursday. I help my clients go through, sales calls, events, and whenever they have a question on their mind, there I am. They have an answer within 24 hours. If it's something that we need to slow down and work on, however, that looks a little bit different. I supply you with the resources and walk you through that decision while we are moving with speed towards keeping that revenue moving and scaling your business. So when it looks like that and you have to make major decisions, you really need to look at how you're delivering your services so you can have that flexibility. I also know that I have ended up in the hospital many times because of my autoimmune disease. So with Voxer, it works out great for me because it is more flexible. Would I work from the hospital? Knowing me, possibly. It depends on the situation. It depends on the situation. But at the same time, you also have this flexibility of knowing how to communicate with your clients and letting them know what's going on in case you can't come in during business hours and how you will, address that at a later date. So my clients also have experienced moments when life just said, you know what, things have been going okay. Let's have some fun, shall we? And the next thing you know, their kids have done something at school or someone else has asked them for help and the list goes on. Now with Voxer, we have that space to be flexible and we are also running a business that is fully booked. It has clients. We're scaling the business. So we're busy. We don't have time to stop down in Zoom or watch long videos. We need to have our plan in place and then take action from there. And I help you implement that plan of action as we go through our 90 days together. And we do focus in on one thing. So Voxer gives you that flexibility, but you also have that focus as well. There's less of a tendency to hop down rabbit holes and things like that when you have Voxer as this container that says, this is the space that we have to talk about this in this amount of time. There are boundaries in Voxer. And that's, not just the business hours, but how long we can chat in Voxer, and also being clear when I'm closing out the session, but then I will be coming back to the session later on that day or tomorrow, for example, or I'll see you next week on, when we start this up next week. It just depends, but you got to keep that balance in Voxer. And a lot of it does have to do with clearly communicating and being present with your clients, which is why I love the flexibility of Voxer. Nobody has to wait on anybody. We're all working on our own schedule, but when we have questions, when my clients have questions, they have someone to ask questions from and get recommendations of where to go next and make confident decisions in their business as they move forward while serving clients and scaling their business to 20K months. Now, the cons of Voxer, everything has a con, everything has a shit sandwich. All right. So you have to accept, can I live with that con? Now, the resources provided through Voxer can get lost in the feed. So I provide my clients with their customized and personal resource library, but in the end, it's up to my clients to follow through on their end so we can both move with speed towards their goals for the next 90 days. Now, I help with creating systems that generate revenue, but also I believe those systems need to be supportive of how the owner wishes and needs to do business. So we take into account everything about that, about your situation with your business, as well as your lifestyle and the lifestyle you would like to have from your business. Another area I look at is, where am I attracting my clients and what can I do to improve the flow of potential clients coming to me for my services? Now, I like to keep things simple. I highly recommend Clay Collins' concept of the 5-1s rule. Now, you may or may not have heard about this, but I like to simplify it because this 5-1s rule definitely simplifies how you look at your business and stay focused. And it is something to use consistently inside your business, regardless of how successful you are. This review of your business will help you stay focused, keep from derailing the successful business that you have while you scale. Because as you know, you can grow too fast and not have the systems in place to support the growth. And you also can derail yourself by making decisions that are not focused on the plan, but you get a little bit derailed. You just get a little bit derailed. Things happen. So we have the 5-1s rule, and we're going to simplify how you look at your business and stay focused. And you're going to do your best to put the systems in place you need to create 20K months and beyond. So I recommend the 5-1s rule. Let's sit down. If you want to, mental notes is fine. You can come back to this and review if you want, or get out a piece of paper and write down. These are the 5 steps solopreneurs can take to break 20K months. Now, number 1, look at where your clients are coming from. If you're not sure, ask yourself, where am I sending my potential clients? Work backwards from there and, get that feedback that you need. Ask them, how did you find me? Or why me? Why did you decide to get on a call with me? Now, the Scale Without Stress strategy call starts with the traffic source. And I give you a visual of what that looks like. But I find many successful solopreneurs have more than one traffic source. But I also find they are either stretched thin with time and or spending quite a bit on done-for-you services with very little profit in the end, or automating everything left and right and still having a higher overhead in their business than they do in income or small income based off of the cost that they have inside their business. Now, having one traffic source helps you to make better decisions as a business owner because you have less to look at to discover exactly where you need to focus to continue growing your business towards those 20K months and beyond. So this is a way that you can declutter your business without cluttering your business, is what I'm getting at, is really focus on one traffic source. Okay. Focus on one traffic source. This tells you a lot more than you really realize. So when you focus on the one traffic source, you get to ask yourself, Where are they coming from? And then step 2 is serve one target market. Now, some of us have a really hard time with this because we want to serve everybody under the sun, or we want to provide several services. And what I've found 9 times out of 10, the thing that you are providing actually does address all these people that you're trying to categorize, but it's a very specific type of market that you are targeting in a very specific type of industry. Now, when you serve one target market, this is your ideal client. Yes, we've all been through the I help X do X exercises. This is not about the basics of niche. This is about going deep into the understanding of your ideal client's mindset, knowledge, how they acquire knowledge, and how they speak about the problem that you solve. Now, inside my 90-day Scale Without Stress program, where I stand by your side, guiding you towards your revenue goals while growing a business that works for you so you can live your life. These are the things that I cover inside my 90-day program. So to make it clear, these 5 steps are not just done bing, bing, bing. They are done throughout the course of your business. This is how sustainability is created. So number 3 is have one signature offer. This is not only do this one way of serving clients. Think of more like this is how I talk about my body of work. But it needs to be focused on the one problem you're solving. This goes hand in hand with who you are serving as well. I have helped successful solopreneurs map out their signature offers in 90 minutes, as well as develop a plan of action to sell the offer through my one-on-one 90-minute Scale Without Stress strategy call. See the notes below if you'd like to book your call today. There is a link down in the description. Step 4, have one way you turn your leads into clients. All right. Now, many choose the free call, the coffee chats to some. Now, different kinds of ways to do things. Another way to convert potential clients into long-term clients is through a smaller price service as an introduction to your services that focus on solving one specific aspect of the problem you solve. This, honest to God, is the best way to filter freebie seekers under the sun, is to charge for your services. You want to filter people, charge for your services. That's one big filter, and don't be afraid to ask for what you're worth. Step 5 is the hardest part. This is the shit sandwich you have to eat because you will get sidetracked along the way. Why? Because you're human. You need to commit to your plan for 1 year. You stay focused on where your clients are coming from, who they are, and are they your ideal client, providing one signature offer and one way to turn your leads into clients. Focus on that, and it will tell you so much about the types of services that you need to be providing, the types of service that you like to provide, your pricing, how your clients think, their mindset. You increase your conversion rate in sales. I'm not going to promise, amazing results. I'm telling you the things that happen when you go through these steps. When you go through these steps, you get a deeper understanding of your client. And that is what every successful business that has been here a long ass time does. They sit and they understand who is my client and how do they use this site, or how do they connect with me, and how can I make it easier for them and easier for me. That's what they do. And I see many of us falling into the trap of let's do everything all at once. Let's slow down, simplify, focus on one thing for 1 year, one traffic source, one individual that is an ideal individual for the problem that you solve, one signature offer. One signature offer, one way to convert them into clients, and do that for 1 year. Now, if you need more clarity around your current plan to bring in clients and want to be sure you are set up for success and 20K months, my Scale Without Stress strategy call is a great way to sit down with me for 90 minutes to discover where you need to focus to break 20K months, where you can streamline your efforts and serve your clients more impact so you can grow a business you love while creating more space for living life and less time in front of the computer. Check out the description for the link to get more information and pricing for the one-on-one 90-minute Scale Without Stress strategy call, and I will see you in the next episode of the Making Business Effortless podcast. Until then, go celebrate your badass self.